a shiny-only playthrough. It's exactly what it sounds like, beating the game using only shiny Pokemon in battles. That last bit's important, especially for a game like Let's Go. You see, in most Pokemon games, you have wild encounters that you can choose to fight or catch. Let's Go games don't have that. Instead, encountering a Pokemon sends you into a catching minigame, which is cool at first, but after a few dozen times having this happen, yeah, not so nice anymore. The only ways to get experience are through captures or the finite number of trainer battles. So, in much the same way HM Pokemon were allowed in older generation challenges, captures of non shiny Pokemon are allowed in this one. Which does mean that this game's shiny hunting method, catch combos, are also allowed, knocking down the odds of a shiny significantly. There are other rules a player can enact for tougher runs as well, which I opted to enable here. All of this is pretty standard fare for shiny badge quests. But there is one very special thing about Let's Go that no other Pokemon game has done. You can play it in multiplayer, using local co-op. Having a friend support you in battles the entire game, using your party of Pokemon as their own. Whether it be for fun times or suffering, it's always better to have company. So I wrote my friend Deve into doing a complete multiplayer shiny badge quest of Let's Go Pikachu. As he'll be using my party in battle, that does mean I'll have to capture a shiny Pokemon for him to use as well. So instead of 8 shiny hunts, we'll have 16. Here we go. I'm pretty sure we all know how this story starts. Talk to Professor, get Shiny Lock starter, head to first town, rival fight, complete tutorial, achieve freedom half an hour later. This game is generous to start, having 50 Pokeballs, which will be extremely necessary, as despite Pokeballs being half priced, there aren't a lot of great ways to make money early, other than selling copious amounts of candy, which don't unlock until you've caught at minimum 30 Pokemon. I'm only allowed to battle using shinies once the tutorial is over, so it's time to hunt one down. Gym 1 is Brock, so a grass type would probably be a good call. We find our green buddy Pickle 4 hours later, who can take down all the trainers in Viridian Forest, easy peasy. He totally didn't almost have to struggle a Kakuna to death because I didn't watch my PP. That'd be ridiculous. Making it to Pewter City, Odds, our rival, encourages us to face the gym, which we'll definitely do after a second shiny hunt. This time for Caterpie, which, yes, does evolve into a mon that is 4 times weak to rocks. But it looks pretty, okay? Also, we have Pickle, so there's nothing to fear. With Smiley and Pickle by our sides, Deve and I waltz into Brock's gym and drain away what little life force his rocks had, gaining the Boulder Badge. Outside Mount Moon, we spot a Meowth living its best life and get swindled into purchasing a fish we cannot use. Inside Mount Moon is an odd duo looking for fossils, something I'm not worried about. Towards the tail end of the cave is a super nerd. He blocks our path and fights for his rights to the 2 fossils he found, that he could have kept if he just moved out our way. Instead, we destroy his Pokemon, grab the dome fossil, and get ambushed by Jesse and James who want the fossil. I may not want this thing, but the level of entitlement claiming something they never possessed is theirs to take back? No, I don't play that. They run away in humiliation, and we're left at the end of Mount Moon. Jumping over this ledge will bring us to Cerulean City, but also cuts us off from all the potential shiny encounters on the routes we've seen thus far. So instead we head back to Route 3 to search for a Sandshrew, which doesn't work out. Deve is thrilled. I'm not. So it's his monkey now. New target, Clefairy. I don't know why, but I'm a sucker for RNG. Whether that be rare loot drops, low accuracy, or random moves. It just gets to me. So the Metronome Queen Faye joins the team. We are geared up for Misty. This Pokemon cannot handle the wrath of RNG, being taken out by Rap and a Swords Dance boosted Double Slap, netting us the Cascade Badge. Above Cerulean, we face another rival fight as Odds has lost his sanity rambling about a talking Pokemon at Bill's house. They didn't let Meowth talk. Despite the anime, no way what he says is legit. Quickly crossing Nugget Bridge, we reach the Poke Fanatic's home, where there is in fact a talking Pokemon. Or rather, a talking Pokemon fusion, as Bill has somehow combined himself with a Nidorino. We click something on his PC, there's mildly concerning smoke. Oh hey, it's a guy! Bill gives us some tickets to a fancy party as thanks for returning him to his human state, and we set off again. This time to the south. There's a daycare here, which we decide is a great place to put the Charmander some random guy asked us to raise. Don't worry, we won't just abandon him here for the rest of forever. Venturing through the path Odds calls dark and spooky, we make it to Vermilion City, where Pickle evolves into Gloom, and we win a swanky sailor's outfit for boarding the SS Anne, a large cruise ship with a view that brings Sparkle joy. The captain teaches us his secret technique Chop Down, allowing entry into Gym 3, but first, some shinies. Growlithe is version exclusive to Let's Go Pikachu, and also evolves into a powerful and beautiful Arcanine, which is one of the few Pokemon the player can ride in Kanto for faster traversal. At a 69 combo, Arsene joins the squad. Not much of Diglett's Cave is accessible at the moment, but a few Pokemon can spawn in this small segment. A little over 30 minutes after Growlithe, the Bros make an appearance, evolving into Dugtrio before we enter the third gym. Lieutenant Surge is no match for the intensity of Arsene's flamethrower or the Bros' digging action, handing over the Thunder Badge after a shockingly short battle. His defeat has opened up the rest of Diglett's Cave. On the other end is the home of one of Oak's assistants, who shares the ability Light Up, allowing sight even in complete darkness. Odds is waiting for us outside the house, asking if he can take us to a dark place he knows. We refuse to go with him, instead making our way back toward Viridian, where there's a leaf stone. A long stroll across the region results in our team being ambushed by Team Rocket. The cool redhead Lorelei comes to our aid, taking out 3 grunts herself in the time we defeat just 1. She calls us talented and states she looks forward to us challenging her in the future. Faye learns Moonblast, giving her all the moves in her natural learn set so she can now evolve. Pickle could also learn Moonblast many levels from now, but as Faye exists, that seemed redundant, so we decided to just evolve him here as well. The very next fight against Coach Tasha also evolves Monkey, and gives us the Brick Break TM to make him seriously powerful. Rock Tunnel is pretty dark in a really fun, atmospheric kind of way. Not completely blinding like older games. We still use our flash equivalent to see everything, eventually escaping to Lavender Town, where we spot a Cubone and Odds entering Pokemon Tower. Confronting Odds, he inquires if our Pokemon died, which of course they haven't, before then trying to kill them himself. I thought you were friendly, Odds. What are you doing? Beating him reveals he was following the Cubone as it seemed to be searching for something. On the next level, we spot a paranormal entity which scares Odds away. Baby. The ghost begs us to leave while Cubone rushes to speak to it, being harshly rejected. The slow walk is heartbreaking. Oh my god. Our progress through Pokemon Tower is halted by a giant ghost that Sparkle refuses to let us pass, even though it looks so friendly. Like, it's smiling. It's got friend vibes, Pika. Whatever. Back in town, we spot Jesse and James lying to the emotionally vulnerable Cubone. As the upstanding citizens we are, it's our duty to bring them to justice. In Celadon, we come across Brock, who gives us some snacks and a little tea. The kind you drink, not the other kind. We buy Pikachu some MIB shades before busting into the Rocket hideout below the game corner. A very beautiful grunt gives us some Team Rocket uniforms to assist our infiltration operation. I get to experience the spin cycle, while Deve just breezes past the puzzles in his imaginary body. Sure, he can't interact with things, but that's still not fair, man. At a lower level, the grunt holding the lift key decides to be a sore loser, throwing the key onto the upper grating. Thankfully, Sparkle has no issues venting, for we are in fact imposters, retrieving the key needed to reach the boss's room. Jesse and James stand in our way yet again. A minor inconvenience as they are forced to blast off again. A very sinister man Archer challenges us, also being brought down by a dog and some whack-a-moles. Giovanni is amused, fighting our team with his iconic version and a Rhyhorn that actually faints Arsene. This isn't a Nuzlocke, but that is the first time we've fainted. Feels bad, man. Faye smites the Rock Rhino with Moonblast, successfully defeating Giovanni and rescuing the forlorn Cubone. Some balloons catch our eye on our way back to Lavender. Turns out, this dude created a machine for the secret technique Skydash, which is just fast travel. Back at the tower, Odds is trying to convince himself to go back in. We offer to go in his place, yet he tags along behind us. Using the sylph scope Giovanni thought was completely useless allows the true forms of the spirits to be revealed. Our friendly-looking ghoul from before was actually a ghostly Marowak, the mother to our sweet, sad Cubone. This scene gets to my heart, with that Marowak spirit as at peace, and we leave Odds to take care of the orphaned Cubone. At the top, Jesse and James are attempting Operation Stealthily Kidnap Fuji. Yeah, how about no? Fuji thanks us for our assistance, bringing us to his home, where we're gifted the Poke Flute. A lot of areas open up to us with this item, but I think it's about time we conquer another gym. Erica's requires a cute Pokemon, which Clefable totally fits, allowing us to enter. But we need some new shinies, so hunting time. Many grass types are also partially poison, so Abra seems like a great solution for this gym. They are prone to teleporting away, but thankfully the shiny spawned facing the bushes, so we are all good. Evoker has a special attack-upping nature, so we're sitting pretty with our new glass cannon. I had Sandshrew from the failed hunt earlier, so I spent a couple hours trading all 143 away in hopes of a shiny Alolan Sandshrew. I didn't get it. It's 1 in 4096, the odds were not in my favor. Back to Rock Tunnel, to search for a Cubone of our own. I really do love this little guy. Evoker evolves, our first experience-soaking Pokemon reaches level 100, and we accumulate 999 Cubone candy before I said a bad word. It had been 9 hours. I have 449 Cubones caught, and even more that I just saw. And yet this is what we got? I'm on 4 times weak to grass and ugly. I took a break while Deve captured Geodudes to level up his stupid rock, which we named Pain. 37 hours in, we give the guards to Saffron City the tea, picking up the Psychic TM from this elderly gentleman to make Evoker an unstoppable force. I hadn't mentioned up to this point, but we are using species candy during this. Not a lot. We set a cap of 20 candies, as allowing the use of 200 would just make every fight a complete joke. The further into the game we get, the less these few extra points matter, but for now they do give Evoker a whopping 130 special attack at level 34. It's gym time. Evoker simply sweeps the entire match with 1 Psychic per Pokemon, gaining the Rainbow Badge. We now come to a crossroads. Koga in Fuchsia, or Silphco and Sabrina in Saffron. Going to Fuchsia will unlock the technique necessary for our Surf and Strength equivalents, plus extra levels would make Silphco much easier to manage, so we choose Fuchsia first, traveling to the routes on the east coast where a slumbering giant blocks our way. A little tune from the Poke Flute alerts the tubby monster, who mistakes us for food and attacks. One short battle and a not-so-synchronized sync capture later, we continue onwards to many, many, many trainer battles. The only good thing about all those battles is the experience gain, which did get Arson up to Flare Blitz, one of the most powerful fire moves and the last thing to learn before evolving him. Meaning, we got us a giant doggo. This is one of my most joyful moments in this playthrough. He's my big precious boy. Anyways, after the gauntlet of trainer battles, we finally arrive in Fuchsia, where Sparkle has a super fun time in Go Park, and this surfer dude and his Lapras teach her to sea skim. On the beach below the Poke Center, Jesse and James discover an amazing golden treasure. Teeth. I'll give them that one, that's gross. And they thrust them upon me. Awesome. Let's do some sea skimming, which is one aspect of this game where the multiplayer function doesn't apply. Your support trainer cannot join on water battles or water encounters, so I'm solo for the time being. At least with Pickle in the party, that's not going to be an issue. Koga's poison types will be weak to Psychic, so Starmie is a no-brainer pick for his gym. Staryu appear very frequently on the water below and beside Fuchsia, and yet it took hours upon hours of encounters. You can only hold 1,000 Pokemon in your Pokemon box. Mine got up to 991 thanks to over 400 Cubone and 400 Staryu before I transferred a few to the professor. Mere moments after transferring, the sparkly star appeared. Had I not transferred, that would have been Pokemon number 995 in the box. 47 hours even in the playthrough thus far. But what's Jewel's partner gonna be? A lot of fights in this section reveal that we don't have many options for birds at the moment. In fact, most of our mons are a little hecked by the flying type, so a solid electric Pokemon feels like the right call. With Sea Skim, we can now access the power plants where there is a big electric type we could go for, but that requires soft resetting, which will throw off the in-game timer. Also, it'd be full odds, and I can't be bothered, okay? I want to finish this game in like a reasonable amount of time, and I can't be doing that. So instead, we'll go for Electabuzz, whose capture circle is solid red. This is gonna go great. As terrifying as it was, one excellent synced capture befriended the high voltage monster, so we're chillin'. Deve names his new buddy Thunderspell, and we head off to Fuchsia for Gym 5. JK, we got rejected for not having got 50 species. About an hour later, we return having registered enough mons to challenge the gym. Jewel and Thunderspell are both rocking Psychic, which demolishes every single poisonous Pokemon. Nothing could survive. I reluctantly evolve Staryu into the much less beautiful Starmie in order to boost its stats, and Koka's mons are rapidly defeated, securing the Soul Badge. It's time to free Saffron from Team Rocket's clutches. On the ground floor of Silphco, we meet up with Blue and Odds. Blue decides to test our strength with a very simple 2-Pokemon battle, which involves a Charizard we feel very bad for. This is like the epitome of
"This is not a favorable matchup."
I'm gonna be real here, it's been at least 5 years since I've been through any iterations of the Silphco building. I do not remember how to get around this place. We retrieved the card key from the Archer fight after 10-ish minutes of exploring, and then spent another 25 minutes aimlessly wandering the halls, taking teleports till Deve looked it up. I'd have found it. Eventually. Taking this warp on floor 3 puts us in a room with Odds. Archer appears behind, wanting to fight yet again, but Odds holds off the old man. Past the next teleport, Jesse and James beg for another beatdown. They were not prepared for the power of our new strongest pairing. In the Silphco president's office, Giovanni is threatening the safety of Silph's workers if they do not comply with his demands. He does not take kindly to our presence, attacking us yet again. His team is no match for Jewel and Thunderspell's insane special powers. After a crushing defeat, Giovanni leaves, vowing to meet us again. Mr. President thanks us for our service and bestows a Master Ball, which we won't be using unless, heaven forbid, a shiny tries to run. With Silphco free from Team Rocket's influence, we are now able to reach Sabrina's gym. Before we can face her, we need a new pair of sparkly members. So back to Mount Moon I go for a little guy that I usually don't like. Considering how long some of the other hunts have been, Shiitake joined the squad really quick. Sabrina is a psychic trainer, which doesn't have a lot of weaknesses in Gen 1. We ultimately decided upon Gyarados as it is a strong physical attacker with access to Crunch. So many splishy splashy fish later, we got our golden boy, which yes, I did catch in a regular Pokeball. I would love to sell you on the idea that this was because Gyarados' shiny is primarily red, so it makes more sense this way. But the reality is, I was just so focused on hitting the dang thing as it constantly jumped around, I didn't swap the ball first. If it's any consolation, Deve did find a second shiny Magikarp while leveling up Fish, which isn't a Premier Ball. Also, while chasing another Magikarp, he found a second Staryu, which made me really happy. Neither of these count towards the challenge total, as we already have our pair for this gym, but they're great to have. Surely that doesn't mean our shiny luck has been spent now. We return to Saffron with Shiitake and Fish fully leveled, at which point I kinda space on the must fight all trainers rule momentarily. Thankfully, Deve sets me straight, and we manage to navigate the maze of teleporters to defeat all of the gym trainers, facing off against the gorgeous Sabrina. Her mime did manage to cause some issues, what with its fairy typing and setting a reflect, but ultimately it only delayed the inevitable. The Marsh Badge is ours. Our next badge requires sea skimming to reach, this time by going south of Pallet Town, where we get to show off Gyarados as a ride Pokemon on the water. Deve cannot join in on our watery fun, so I get to borrow Thunderspell for a bit and zap everything on the route. Sometime later, I happen upon the shores of Cinnabar Island, whose gym is locked. Apparently, the key is in a building overrun by plants. So this one. Got it. This building has more than plant problems, as there are literal burglars here. Activating special statues changes the state of sliding doors around the building, which was not at all difficult to navigate. We grabbed the secret key in the basement lab and returned to the gym, opening it for completion a little later. We need another set of shinies first. Blaine uses the fire type, so water, ground, or rock types would be great. From my previous hunts, I realized that Tentacruel actually pathfind to the player, meaning that if a shiny spawns, it'll come to you. And while Tentacruel's catch circle is not as friendly as Tentacruel's, I thought it'd be great to go for the more difficult target. Surely it'll take enough encounters for the circle to go to at least orange, right? Good thing silver raspberries exist. Also, no idea why the game sent it that way, I threw it straight. I named the jellyfish squid thing Metroid and returned to Route 3 to maybe not face on Sandshrew a second time? Yeah, my great little body! Sadly, I did delete the footage of Desert evolving. Oh well. With the extremely cool duo properly leveled, we take on Gym 7. This gym is a quiz show where you only fight trainers if you answer questions incorrectly. So we had to look dumb in front of an audience to follow our rules. Until the last question, which is just a give me as all of the answers are correct. I neglected to teach Scald to Metroid before this fight, so we're stuck with Bubble Beam and Surf. Desert has Dig, so every other turn we are able to surf the fire types, putting them out fairly quickly. The Volcano badge is acquired. Odds informs us that the last gym badge should be in Viridian, but the gym is always closed. Before we deal with that, a short adventure to the Seafoam Islands, where I get seriously confused and a little stuck. We never did get this game's equivalent of strength, meaning I can't stop the currents as of now. So instead I pop an escape rope and head over to Fuchsia, giving the warden his golden teeth. He repays us by teaching Sparkle Strong Push. I wasn't mentally in a place to do the Seafoam puzzle, it being nearly 2 o'clock in the morning at the time. So instead, I headed off to trade yet another set of Sandshrews away in hopes of finding the sparkly Alolan variant. After an hour and a half, I still didn't get one in 215 Sandshrew trades. Alrighty, next option, Poliwag. A hunt I really thought would be simple. One that actually ended up breaking my personal records for all Let's Go hunts so far. Higher than Cubone, longer than Staryu, a chain so massive it nearly hit the cap. In fact, while leveling up Fury, I did reach 999 Poliwag caught, which is both something I am proud of and disgusted by. 14 hours were spent building this monstrosity of a combo, and now we break it in the Seafoam Islands, capturing the first of several Jinx while I complete the push block puzzle, evolving Fury into a Poliwhirl, then Poliwrath along the way. A while later, the pink dress princess graces us with her presence, the final shiny of our badge quest. Deve had gone to sleep when I found her, so I decided to go grab a couple TMs we had missed in order to better outfit our teams for the upcoming league fights, teaching Faye Flamethrower while Jewel learned Ice Beam. Frost also learned Ice Beam and Shadow Ball. I then called it a night. The next morning, I went over movesets with Deve, purchasing the Waterfall TM and Celadon for Poliwrath. We then set out to investigate the Viridian Gym, with odds suggesting maybe the professor will know what's up. At the lab, we also find Blue, who gives us a keystone and some megastones for the Cantonian starters. Doesn't help with the gym issue, but nice, I suppose. Exiting to Pallet, a little girl in the grass informs us the gym leader of Viridian has returned. This gym's gimmick looks familiar. At the end of a very dizzy adventure, from the shadows we see it's Giovanni. We've already taken him out twice at this point, so this should be a cakewalk. His ground Pokemon are no match for Frost's Ice Beam, giving us the Earth Badge, our 8th and final badge in the Kanto region. Having been unable to defeat a mere child, Giovanni decides to disband Team Rocket, walking away with a smug smile. Blue meets us out front, vowing that he will now be the gym leader of Viridian to help keep the region safe. Back on Route 22, we face odds yet again. His Pidgeot lands Sand Attack, making Faye miss Flamethrower twice. Arson rectifies the situation. This entire playthrough, Jolteon has not missed a single Thunder, and this time is no exception. While odds may be capable of healing in battle, an onslaught of Psychics takes him down. Continuing to Route 23, we decide to update our moveset yet again, teaching Arson Protect so bros can use Earthquake. Electabuzz learns Ice Punch over Low Kick, while Monkey learns Fire Punch over Fury Swipes. I also recall that I wanted Thunder Punch for Monkey, which is back in Saffron. After one quick trainer battle, we are fully prepped for Victory Road, flashing our badges at each of the checkpoints until we reach the final stretch. We overcome every single trainer battle through the power of teamwork and positivity, discovering a Moltres hidden within the cave which we dare not approach. After a long trek through countless battles, we finally see the light of day once more, standing at the stairway to the Indigo Plateau. Sparkle is ready to become a champion. Well, more like champion's aid, as she cannot participate in battle, not being shiny and all. We purchase enough heals to pull off tournament-style healing, visit Nurse Joy to top off our health, pump the Bros levels so he can use Fissure, and enter the Pokemon League. Beginning with Old Faithful, Faye, and Monkey, who've been with us for nearly the entire game. Deve forgets ice types are weak to fighting, so her Dugong actually lives our first combo of attacks. Jinx shatters to a Brick Break, while Cloyster is overcome by a Brick Break and Moonblast combined. The thickness that is Slowbro survives both a Thunder Punch and Shadow Ball, hitting us with a strong Surf. Lapras also falls to a Brick Break Moonblast combo, leaving Lorelei defeated. Bruno's up next with a hardy Onix who tanks Brick Break, but only once. Poliwrath couldn't handle Thunder Punch into Moonblast. Meanwhile, Brick Break Moonblast takes more casualties in Machamp, Hitmonlee, and Hitmonchan, winning the second round. Agatha's turn, who is up against Arson and the Bros. Protect Quake destroys the Arbok, bringing in a Gengar who takes heavy damage from Crunch while avoiding Fissure, which does result in Arson being poisoned by Sledge Bomb. Another Crunch knocks it out. Earthquake deals a lot of damage to Weezing, who tried to attack the protected Arson. My big boy then expels the poisoning out of Love, leaving him on 69 HP. Sucker Punch doesn't knock out Weezing, so Flare Blitz comes out, incinerating it. Golbat cannot be EQ'd, so we use Sucker Punch Flare Blitz yet again, deleting the bat's health bar. Another Protect Quake faints the final Gengar, putting Agatha's team to rest. It's time for Lance, the Dragon Master, who has a total of 1 dragon in this game. Yeah. Jewel and Thunderspell's time to shine. Seja is easily disintegrated by Thunderbolt. Aerodactyl has the speed advantage, rocking us with a very strong Earthquake. While it may survive a Thunderbolt, the following Scald knocks it out. Gyarados has no chance to live in this battle, being 4 times weak to Electric. Charizard faces the Thunderbolt Scald combo as well, leaving only Dragonite to face us. Our frigid Ice Punch Ice Beam ends the Flying Dragon, winning us the Pokemon League. Or rather, it would have if odds hadn't beaten us to it. Now we get to put odds in his place one final time, throwing Arson and the Bros out first against his Pidgeot, who immediately Mega Evolves. Sucker Punch Flare Blitz leaves it barely alive, making him swap out to Slowbro, who takes a Crunch and Slash twice. Vileplume hits the field and is instantly roasted by Flare Blitz, leading to Jolteon, who dies to a Protect Quake. I swap Arson for Faye, who can tank an Earthquake from Bros, ending Rapidash. Mega Pidgeot then returns, being full restored by odds, wasting Deve's Sucker Punch, but eating a powerful Moonblast. The Bros avoids flinching to Air Slash, landing a Slash. He encouraged me to hit Metronome, so we get a Stun Spore, which does slow him enough that we both outspeed, fainting the bird. The final Mon is Marowak, which actually survives an Earthquake and Moonblast, killing Bros with Bonemerang, pulling Monkey onto the field. Odds full restores yet again, while Monkey U-turns to Jewel. Faye rolls Bind, which critically hits, funnily enough, leaving Scald to end the battle. We are officially the new champions of Kanto. If you made it this far, please like the video. It helps YouTube know they should show it to other people too. Also, consider subscribing. I have many other Pokemon things planned for the future that you'll more than likely also enjoy. Thanks for your time. I hope you have a lovely day.